Good afternoon, everyone. Do you guys hear me okay in the back? I can't see you, by the way, so I'm not sure who's back there. so, my name is Dennis Muellert, and I represent the company Five9. I'm here to talk about delivering great customer experiences and the human experience and the human factor in everything that we've heard today in regards to the technology. You know, the human factor and the human experience is one thing that tends to be forgotten when we talk about technology. Part of what we're doing in conjunction with Odoo and our partners is create environments where the customer experience and the human experience when dealing with organizations, it's going to be a positive one. So at our company, we've determined that a great customer experience is made up, it's a formula that's made up of customer experience, the agent experience, which translates into a great human experience. So it's not just the customer side of the equation, but it's also the agent side of the equation. And you probably heard, in the contact center lingo and the operational lingo that a happy employee translates into happy customers. And that's part of what we're trying to do with our technology. Digital transformation is driving the need to predict and respond to the customer behavior. And there are four major pillars that are driving what we call the digital transformation of businesses these days. Number one is the cloud. As you probably remember, up until a couple years ago, the cloud was like, no, spooky, right? And nowadays, we've seen businesses all over the world embracing the cloud. Government agencies, banking institutions, everyone wants to jump on the cloud, and they don't want to do it tomorrow. They want to do it now, and they want to do it all in one shot. In the past, we would notice, that companies would slowly transition to new technologies. In the case of the cloud, the transition is very fast. Mobile devices. As you know, how many of you have a mobile device today? All of you. And, we do everything with our mobile device today. Everything from paying for things to turning on our car, turning on our oven, controlling our bed, and a whole bunch of different things. I had the AT&T guy in my house the other day for service. I had 42 devices connected to my Wi-Fi system. I had no idea that there were 42 things in my house that were connected to my infrastructure at any given time. So everything today is mobile, and we're doing more and more with our mobile devices. We are also seeing big data taking a huge role in businesses. So we're collecting data everywhere. We have reports, we have databases, we have a myriad of systems that run our operations that are constantly collecting data, and that data is there, and that intelligence that you need in order to make decisions in your business is there, but it's very hard to extract. It's very hard to mine. And part of what we're doing is focused on mining that data to provide knowledge so that you can make better decisions. And finally, social channels. Can anyone in the audience scream, what is the #1 platform utilized for communication and collaboration worldwide today? Anybody? WhatsApp. Okay? It's WhatsApp. You want to talk to your friends? What do you use? WhatsApp, except in the United States, where everyone uses Messenger, right, from our phones. But the world communicates on WhatsApp. If you want to call your friend in Spain, you don't dial your phone. It's going to run your long-distance charges. You use WhatsApp, right? If you want to have a conference with a guy in Spain, a guy in London, a guy in Brazil, and a guy in Argentina, what's the fastest and most cost-efficient way of doing it? WhatsApp conference. Okay? So everything is connecting to WhatsApp today. You go to any website, any business, you're going to find a Twitter link, you're going to find a Facebook link, you're going to find LinkedIn, you're going to find WhatsApp, because people are communicating through WhatsApp today. So social channels are taking a big role. And if you don't believe me, and you don't believe that the digital transformation of the world, not just the business, has taken place, just look at this picture. Does anyone have a clue what this picture represents? This is the inauguration of the Pope back in the mid-2000s. I believe it was 2007. This was taken. The same picture was taken 5, 6 years later when Pope Benedict was inaugurated. Okay? So if you look at the initial picture, you can spot that little flip phone on the bottom right. And several years later, this is what it looked like. So we have digitally transformed, and businesses have done the same. And the mobility mentality has changed in such a way that the expectation, our expectation as consumers, is for any data, any information and services to be available from the palm of our hand. And when we interact with a business, we expect the same thing. I don't want to call a business and have to authenticate myself through 17 different questions and tell them the middle name of my grandmother and, things of that nature. I want them to be able to identify me with one question, or maybe even with my voice. Okay? Banks are doing that today. So the mobility mentality has changed the way we do business. And this is a very interesting video that I think, it's less than a minute, I promise. I think it solidifies the message that I'm trying to convey in terms of how we have evolved digitally.
Emma. Huh? Emma.
Not anymore.
Emma.
Every day it's getting on my nerves.
Emma.
Oh, I'm
Emma.
begging you, please.
Emma.
Oh, you
So, it's kind of funny to watch that video, but that's, if you think about it, that's what we do. With the exception of the toilet paper. We haven't figured that one out yet. But everything has been done digitally today. And why digitally transform your business? Because if you don't do it, you die. And if you don't believe me, look at what happened in the last century. When we look at the 1900s, the beginning of the 1900s, we had electrical wiring invented, okay? And by the 1920s, we started to have telephone lines. We started to communicate via telephone. And then came the coax cable in the 1980s. And data networking in the 2000s. And then eventually, in the 2010, we had, everything digitalized. And something that's very important to remember for any company, any organization out there today, is that the average expected life expectancy of a company today has been reduced from about 50 years in 1960 to probably less than 20 years by 2020. That's next year, in a couple months, okay? So part of the reason why this is happening is because companies historically haven't really digitally transformed. And to make the point, anybody here remember that name? America Online? Probably the first internet company that we remember, valued at $161 billion back in the year 2000. which for the year 2000, that valuation was humongous, okay? And what happened to America Online? They could not transform. They eventually merged with Time Warner, fell to 1998's valuation, and eventually was eaten up by Verizon. Out of the map, wiped out. Anybody remember Radio Shack? I still remember the Sunday newspaper, the flyers, with all the specials, okay? They started with a newspaper in 1971, then the flyer, you know, the famous catalog. I remember the catalog, then the website. But then what happened? In 2011, we started to see traditional things like magazines, newspapers, ads, flyers, things of that nature transform into mobile apps. So now, you know, people were no longer buying the newspaper, they were just getting it in their iPad, okay, and reading it in their iPad. So everything that Radio Shack did through their flyer eventually was replaced through a mobile app, including the shopping experience. And 70% of what they sold in store is today provided free of charge through an app. Everything from a walkie-talkie to you name it, okay? Who remembers Blockbuster? One of the largest, you know, video rental companies in the world. Huge company, but they could not make the transition from the VHSs and the DVDs to the digital world. And then came our friends from Netflix, who started with the DVDs, and you know, you could mail them. They kind of figured out very quickly that that wasn't going to work for long. They tried the kiosk at the 7-Elevens and the gas stations. They figured out this is not the experience that we want to give our customers. And then they transformed digitally and put everything in the cloud. And I don't need to tell you where they are today, okay? Perfect example of a company that was able to digitally transform and be successful, okay? And so what we have done at Five9 with Odoo, with ICQ24, is kind of take what the customer of today wants in terms of experience when they interact with a business. And we have created integrations, which we're gonna see an example, a live example here in a couple of minutes, of an integration of Five9 delivering a service to a customer in a way that it provides a good experience for the agent and a good experience to that end customer that's speaking with that agent. And you know, when we look at businesses, especially businesses that deal in the area of customer service, 90% of businesses that are in customer services have some sort of a contact center operation with their customers. And the contact center is at the heart of the customer experience of companies that deliver services, because they're your front line. They're the battlefront of the people that first interact with your customers. And so they have to be very well equipped to be able to deliver a good experience. So what we have created is an open infrastructure that allows for artificial intelligence to be implemented and allow it to be integrated with platforms such as Odoo in order to provide a very good experience to the agent, to enable the agent to be able to interact better with the customer. And you know, one of the reasons why Gartner has recommended Five9 for 5 years in a row as the top contact center company worldwide in the cloud is because of this ability to integrate with platforms such as Odoo. It's the only company that has been in the leaders quadrant of Gartner the 5 years, consecutive years, that Gartner has monitored this space. And so we continue to develop and to create solutions that are focused on maintaining that leadership and helping take your business to the next level. And Jonathan Rosenberg is the inventor of the SIP connectivity protocol. He actually leads our product development at Five9. And it's very interesting that his vision of a great customer experience is based on three grades: great product, great uptime in our case, and great delivery of professional services. And part of what Odoo does and what Five9 does is rely on partners that are able to deliver these grades to our customer base. To finish up my part of the delivery, Alvin Toffler said something pretty interesting. It's in Spanish, but we translated it at the bottom. And it's that the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those that cannot read or write. Simply are those that are unable to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And this applies to businesses, especially today. It is said that the technology industry is going to change more in the next 2 to 3 years than it has in the last 40 years. So companies can no longer afford not to transform every couple of months, okay? So otherwise, you just die. You adapt or die. And so one of the things that we've done is that we have prepared, we don't like videos. I heard that we don't like videos too much. So we're going to deliver a demonstration of Odoo integrated with Five9 to provide a good customer experience. And I would like to invite Carlos to help us here drive the demo while I explain what's going on in the screen that you're going to see. I think that a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So what we're looking at here on the screen is actually an Odoo system. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can actually see the Five9 telephony plugin. So when the agent is looking at this screen, they no longer need to have a screen with a soft phone, another screen with Odoo, or another screen with X, Y, or Z. We now have the capability of bringing it all together in one view to the agent so that they can focus on that one screen and on delivering a good experience to the customer rather than putting them on hold so they can flip around screens, okay? So when a customer contacts a contact center agent, or it could be a customer service representative from any company, they will be able to get directly from the screen all of the history about that customer. So they know why that customer is calling, what they've called before, etc. So in the example that we're going to see here on the screen, we're going to go ahead and, we're looking at a website of any given business, and the agent, or the customer rather, has clicked that they want to go ahead and interact with an agent, okay? So at this point, we're going to go ahead and type a number. My number, right? So he's going to dial my number. So I'm going to accept the call. I'm going to mute it. Okay? So now that agent is seeing on the screen my information, my history as a customer, why I have called before, through which channels I have called before. And one of the great things about this is that the agent can also see the whole customer journey. So it could be that me as a customer, I started through a web interaction. But from that web interaction, I decided to maybe escalate it to a chat interaction. And maybe that chat interaction had to be escalated to a voice interaction. And maybe that voice, in one way or another, translated eventually into a WhatsApp interaction. So the whole journey of the customer is there. And what that allows is for the agent to not have to bother the customer to re-authenticate every single time that they have to change the channel, providing a great experience. The agent knows exactly why that customer's called before. They know what they visited when they went into the website, what products they looked at, what they're interested in, and a whole bunch of other pieces of information that can provide intelligence for that agent to be able to provide a better experience for that customer. Maybe provide some guidance in terms of products that they should, buy or look at, etc. Okay? So it's all about the experience and the human experience of that interaction between the customer and the organization. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, to wrap it up, I'm going to hang up the call, and then I'm going to send a WhatsApp message to this company, okay? I'm going to say, hello. Gabriel? Okay, and if you notice up in the top, there's a notification that that message has been received. And right now, we're interacting. So what you're seeing here is the power of Odoo delivering all of the customer intelligence to the agent, while 5.9 is delivering the interaction to the agent in an intelligent way. And an intelligent could be based on skills. It could be based on artificial intelligence decision making. Because now, many people say, well, how can AI play a role in the delivery of calls? Well, think about this. In the past, calls, whenever you called a call center, calls were usually delivered to the agent based on skills. So this agent has the skill to be able to handle this call, and whether they were having a bad day or not, they will get that call, okay? Well, now artificial intelligence can sense if Carlos here, who is an average agent, today is having a great day. So if a key customer, top customer is calling, artificial intelligence can decide to send that call to this agent because he's having an exceptional customer service day today. And the chance of him delivering a great human experience in that interaction is much higher today than if my typical great agent takes the call today. So, that's just an example of how AI plays a role. There's a million of other ways that artificial intelligence has been embedded into the 5.9 engine and into a lot of the things that we're starting to see today to help deliver a good customer experience. We have about a minute or two to be able to answer calls. There's a mic here, so I invite you to please use it because I hear that we can't hear you very well. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask us any questions. I know that we stand between you and the drinks, so we'll try to make it quick. No questions?
Everything is good?
Okay, so, we're going to be at the ICQ 24 booth the rest of the week, the rest of the event. We will be more than happy to answer questions or even do a demo there for you guys of, a more expansive demo of what we've seen. But I thank you very much for your attention and attendance this afternoon, and have a great afternoon.